1.
Muskrat recreates land. Zo nide nawetsi. Retold by Jonas Niel, written by Sister Celeste Goulet, translated by Mary Rose Sundberg, and illustrated by Richard Andrew. It's also written in the Willady dialect of Clicho. Muskrat recreates land. One day Mr. Bear was up to no good. Who knows what gets into him? Sometimes he gets so hyper, and some days all he does is get into trouble. This day he went too far and he stole the sun. Yes, that's right, he stole the sun. The sun disappeared for a long time and no one could find it. Mr. Bear ran away too. No one could find him either. Raven, wolf, fox, moose, and caribou searched all day in darkness and by the moonlight in the night. After months of looking here and looking there, all the animals found the sun at once. They made sure it was put back into the right position. The sun started to shine again on everything on this good old earth. It shone so much on the earth that everything started to melt. Everything melted so fast that the earth began to flood with water, covering everything on the earth. The animals knew that they had to do something fast before everyone disappeared under the water. They thought and thought. Finally, a voice said, "We should make a raft." All the animals worked together. No one caused any trouble. Everyone helped each other. Raven teased the others now and then, but all the animals were used to him and knew that was his way. The raft started to take shape. The raft was made with large logs. It was so big that all the animals could fit on it. It looked great. Soon the raft began to float around with no land anywhere in sight. The whole earth was now covered with water, and all the animals, even Mr. Bear, was on the raft, safe from drowning. The animals floated for many days with no land anywhere in sight. Some of the animals were lonely for food, some became bored, and others prayed and hoped that the flood would go down and earth would be seen again. Finally, after many days of floating, the leader asked if there was anyone that could reach the bottom of the water and come back with dirt and mud that could be used to make a new earth. One after another, they tried to reach the bottom of the great flood. First, the great diving birds tried, then the beaver, the otters, and the minks, but none of them could reach the bottom. The water was too deep. The only diver that they didn't try was the little muskrat. He sat on the edge of the raft, minding his own business. All the other animals came to him and asked why he didn't try to dive to the bottom. Poor Muskrat lowered his head, looking very sad. Muskrat finally said, "I'm so small, and everyone who tried is a better swimmer than I. How can I help? I can't do much." All the animals looked sadly at him and walked away, talking among themselves. Then someone turned around and noticed that the little muskrat was gone. He had disappeared over the side. They all knew he was on his way down. They all watched the water, hoping to find him. The little muskrat was gone for a long time. Some of the animals thought that he had drowned for sure. After a long time, the little muskrat floated back to the surface. He could barely move. The other animals pulled him out of the water. They tried to help him get stronger. One of his little hands was closed as if he was holding something. When the leader carefully opened his hand, they found a very small piece of mud in his hand. They knew then that he had touched the ground. The animals placed the small dirt on top of the water. It started to grow larger and larger. It was the small animals that were the first to walk and run around on the new earth. It continued to grow bigger and bigger, and the wolf was next to roam the new earth. Wolf told the animals that if the land was large enough, he would howl from far directions to tell them all was well and ready for all to come. Soon all the animals and birds heard the wolf howling. They knew that it was safe to go on the new world.